Namaste, this is Rishikeshwritings, and today our guest is Silenia from Bolivia, which is in South America, and a big huge continent like India. Namaste, Silenia.
Namaste, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, Selena, how do you find the yoga in your life?
Well, it's been a long journey since I started. This was in 2012 that I started actually reading books because I like to read books. And I was reading the Dalai Lama's book, and he was talking about the reasons for humankind to suffer. So for me it was a very interesting topic, and I was working as a brand manager because I have a degree in marketing and publicity. So then after I decided that I'm gonna change my life, because at that point in my life I had everything that I wanted to have. I mean, I'm talking about material things, but still I was feeling like something is missing, you know, like I was feeling like, okay, I have everything, but at the same time I was feeling empty inside. So I decided that I'm gonna explore the world. And the first place that I went was to Peru. I did a Vipassana course there. That was my first Vipassana. And then after that, I went to Hawaii. And there is an island called Kauai. And I was looking for a place to practice my meditation. And then I found a Hindu monastery. This is called Kauai Hindu Monastery. And that was the first time for me that I saw Indian gods. I saw Shiva, I saw Ganesh, and I saw Kartikeya. So I was very curious because everything in Hinduism is completely different from my country and from my culture. So I started studying this Hinduism. And the priest from this temple, he gave me some books as a gift. So I started reading these books, but for me it was very difficult to understand the meaning of the books because they were talking about chakras and meditation and asanas and pranayama, and I was like, what? You know, like, what is this? I never heard this before. And I asked him, and he tried to explain me, but it was not possible for me to understand. So after 6 months, I went back to Bolivia. And I didn't know what is coming for me. Like, I didn't know if I'm gonna work again as a brand manager or what I'm gonna do with my life. So I decided that I'm going back again to do another Vipassana. So the second Vipassana for me was in Bolivia. And I met a girl from Argentina, and we started talking after the course. And then she said to me that she was coming back from India. And then I asked her, like, what you were doing in India? And she said, oh, I was doing a teacher training and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh, that sounds good. You know, and I really wanted to understand the books that I got from the priest in Hawaii. He is a monk. And I said, okay, if I really want to understand these books, I have to go to India because no one can explain me this here in Bolivia. So then I said to my father, I want to go to India because I want to be a yoga teacher. But actually, that was my excuse to come to India, okay? I used this as an excuse to understand the books because I knew it that I cannot say to my father, oh, I want to go to India because I want to understand the books. You know, I need something. So that was the excuse for me to come to India. And then I did my first teacher training in Nasik. And then I did my second and my third teacher training in Nasik also. And after that, I went to Nepal to travel for some time. And then I went back to Bolivia and I gave my first yoga class, and then I realized that I love it. So I think that it was meant to be.
And then you come to the Dev Sanskriti University, because many Westerner who come to India, like Goa, Manali, or like Rishikesh, Dharamsala, these places, where they, if they want to do a yoga teacher training, so they go for a 200-hour, 300-hour yoga teacher training instead of visiting a university. So
Yes.
how do you see these things?
Well, actually, I think that for me, and this is my personal opinion, for me was not enough because yoga is a science. So there is a lot that we have to learn. And I did 4 teacher trainings, 3 in Nasik and 1 in Bangalore before coming to Haridwar. And I've been teaching in my country for 8 years already. And after that, I thought, okay, maybe it's time for me to do a degree. And the degree that I am doing now, it's a bachelor in the science of yoga and human consciousness. And it's 3 years. And it's very tough. So that's why I think it's not for everyone. But at the same time, I think that it's okay, for people to come and learn only for 200 hours or 300 hours. It's okay also because at least they can get something. And for all the people looking for their own spirituality, it's a good place to come to Rishikesh.
And before coming to India and Rishikesh, how you felt about it?
Well, the first time that I came to India was 12 years ago,
Yeah.
no, 10 years ago. So it was not common for girls to come alone. And at the beginning I was a little bit scared to travel alone around India. But then I got to know that it's just like every country, like you have to be careful about the places that you go. And maybe in India you have to be extra careful, but it's okay also. And I really love Indian culture. I learned a lot. And this is my 3rd time here in India, but this is the longest period that I've been here because for the first time I was only 3 months and then I went to Nepal. And then the second time I was here for 1 month and now it's been more than 2 years. So it's been a journey for me. It transformed me a lot. So I am very grateful with India.
And what transformation you found within yourself, like after learning a yoga, and what gift you would like to share with the Bolivian public?
I think that here in India I reconnected with my true self. Being so far from my country, from my family, from my culture, from my normality allows me to be exactly who I am. So now I'm feeling like I connected again with my true self. And I'm going back to Bolivia with a lot of knowledge that first I receive it for myself, and then I try to experience all this knowledge on myself. And now I'm going back to Bolivia and my plan is to open a yoga clinic. I want to be more focused on therapies than just the yoga class that is the physical part. So I want to give more like a holistic treatments for patients, because also as a yoga therapist I'm going to be able to work with Ayurvedic doctors. So my plan also is to create a team between Ayurvedic doctors and me, so they are going to be in charge of the Ayurvedic part and I'm gonna do the yogic part. So I think a lot of good things are coming for Bolivians.
Which city in Bolivia are you from?
Santa Cruz de la Sierra.
How do you find the difference between Santa Cruz, Bolivia and the Rishikesh?
Okay, I think that we have similarities at the same time in the culture, but of course there is also a big and shocking cultural shock in some things. Like for example, the similarities that we have is like we are very friendly people in my city and here in India also, right? In my city we said that this law of the local people, hospitality. So for us, hospitality is a law. Like we really care about people that is not from our city, we welcome everyone. And it's the same here in India, right? People really care about people that is not from India, and we are feeling very welcome. But also at the same time, there are some things that I think is normal in my country and are not normal here in India. Like, for example, if we go to the swimming pool or if we go to the river, like I told you, just yesterday we went with my friends to Secret Waterfall, and we were using shorts and t-shirts, like we were not using bikinis, but still so many guys were around us looking at us like we were something weird. So that kind of situation is uncomfortable for us as a foreigners, but also for me it's like I don't understand, you know, what they have in their mind to look at us like that when actually it's something so normal.
What is your opinion about the therapy which you learn in SVYASA University? Like, how's your experience in this particular university you learn?
SVYASA University is a very good university. They are more focused on practices, so that is also the part that I like about the SVYASA. I think that they are also more used to foreigners students. So all the you know, the good part that have also SVYASA University is that you as a student, you can have also the opportunity to work or practice in the hospital that they have. So this is of course a very good experience for all the SVYASA students.
Who's your favorite teacher in Rishikesh as a yoga teacher, or a drop-in classes you visited?
I love drop-in classes because I think that I can learn from different styles, different teachers. So I'm so sorry, but I cannot say that I have a favorite. Because actually I like all of them, because I can take like a little bit of all of them and then create my own style, you know. So I think that is one of the things that I really love about Rishikesh, that if you come to Rishikesh, you can take the drop-in class and you have, I don't know, maybe 1,000 of choices. So there are a lot of good, very good yoga teachers here in Rishikesh.
Being a therapist, like, what you find it like? What diseases the people suffering from in Bolivia and diseases you found it in India? Like, how do you see yourself as a therapist? Like, what should you have to more work on this?
I think that the most common right now, and it's not just in Bolivia or just India, it's all over the world, is the stress.
Okay.
It's stress, it's anxiety, and it's depression. So I think that people have to start taking care of their mental health. And of course, yoga is all about mind, right? Yoga, it's about controlling our thoughts, our emotions. And I think that that is why yoga is very important for all the people all over the world, not just Indians, not just Bolivians. I think that this is a tool that humanity can use to heal themselves.
What is your favorite food in Rishikesh?
My favorite food in India, I will say that is dosa.
Okay.
I am a dosa lover.
Why it is so favorite for you?
I don't know, because it's very tasty, and everywhere that you go you can find dosa, and it's very simple at the same time. It can be light also, like for example, if you order a plain dosa and it's made of ragi, it's very healthy also. So that is my favorite, but I have a lot that I really like it.
And what's your favorite destination in India? Like, you would like to, like, you're leaving this beautiful country and you will wish you will come back again. So what's your favorite destination?
That is a hard question because I've been in so many places in India, and every place for me is special. Some places, because of the place itself, like for example the mountains in Manali, I love it. But also the people, you know, like I met so many good friends in Goa, and also in Mukteshwar, in Nainital also I have such a good time. And here in Rishikesh, of course, I have a lot of friends here in Rishikesh. But if I'm gonna say like the place that I'm gonna really miss, of course it's gonna be Rishikesh.
And what is your favorite spots in Rishikesh? And you would like to recommend to the people of Bolivia?
I
to
would
visit?
recommend definitely a secret waterfall, but early morning, so no
Okay.
one is there. And early morning in Rishikesh means 9 to 10 a.m., okay? And then another place that I really like it is Kiarki for
Okay.
the sunset. It's a very beautiful place, and of course Ganga, and you cannot miss the fire ceremony and Triveni Ghat. I love it. And also a good experience is Parmanikatan to have the Ganga Arati. And then what else? You don't have to miss the cafes. There are a lot of good places here in Rishikesh to have coffee or food, or even food for foreigners that are not common in Haridwar, for example, we can find here in Rishikesh. Rafting is also a good idea. But yeah, it depends on the mood and what people is looking for.
And being a yoga teacher or being a therapist, you read a lots of books during your practices or during your learning period. What is your favorite book, and you're going to recommend to the people who are going to start the journey in yoga?
My favorite book is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, but I think that it can be very difficult for beginners to understand. Like, we have two teachers that try to explain us chapter by chapter the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, but I think that the knowledge that this book have is very deep, and it can be very helpful these days, especially people suffering from stress, anxiety, and depression. But if I can recommend a book, that will be Hatha Yoga Pradipika, because it has a very good knowledge about yoga asanas and pranayamas, and also about the concept, the real concept of yoga. So Hatha Yoga Pradipika, I think, is a very good book for people to start reading about yoga.
And is Ayurveda is popular in your country? How the people see the Ayurveda therapy?
I think it's the beginning for Ayurveda in Bolivia, but I think that it's not that deep like here, like here Ayurveda, to be a Ayurvedic doctor, you have to study for 6 years, right? So that is the real Ayurveda knowledge that someone can give it to the patients. But right now, also as the same that is happening with yoga, right? People is coming to study for 1 month yoga, and people is also coming to study for 1 month Ayurveda. It's something, it's better than nothing, but still, I think that if people can do it, of course, I will definitely recommend to do a proper study in Ayurveda that is 6 years, so they become an Ayurvedic doctors.
And what is your favorite therapy you would like to share?
That is very hard also to answer, but I will say that a combination of therapies, because it depends on the season, it depends also what do you need in that moment. Like, for example, right now it's very hot in India. So for me it will be very good mat therapy, right? Something to cool my body. Or just walking barefoot on soil, on earth. But if it's winter, maybe I can recommend steam bath or something like that. But I think that a combination of therapies is good, and this depends on the weather and also what is the necessity of the body in that moment.
One thing you would like to say about India?
That I'm gonna miss a lot. I'm gonna miss a lot this place, because it's been a long journey for me, and at the beginning was not easy, and I always said that this this is the hardest experience for me in my life, because it's been almost 3 years that I don't visit my country. So I'm completely disconnected from my country, from my family, and from my culture. Because even though I call every day to my mom, and I try to keep relationships with my closest one, but still I'm feeling like India pushed me to my limits. Like here I really got to know myself, because many things happens, of course, good experiences and at the same bad experiences. So sometimes I found myself and I thought like I didn't know that I can react in this way. And then I learned also that okay, this part is also part of me. So I just learned how to control myself, or how to accept things as they are.
Thank you for sharing your thought and the wisdom which you learned. We wish that you will spread this wisdom toward across the world, across
Yes.
South America, North America, wherever you go. And thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
And namaste.